We're alive.
Yes, we are.
Hey, it's Chris Homestead and Hardway, and this is another installment on the Common Sense, Common Knowledge series. We call it episode 4. And if you've been watching this for a while, you know we're in eastern North Carolina. We're right in hurricane country. And I think that's something that I might need to touch on a little bit. And I'm not going to make any jokes about running to the grocery store for bread and milk. But don't. Just don't. Let me tell you what you need to do to get ready for a hurricane. If you have livestock, that probably needs to be first priority. You need to get that done first. A good friend of mine lost a litter of pigs in this last hurricane, the one that just happened this weekend, and it wasn't a bad storm. They had a litter of pigs drown. And it's kind of got me thinking about some things I tell y'all. So make sure your livestock's high and dry. That's the first thing. Take care of them first. Get you some extra feed. Go ahead and feed them up good before the storm starts. Feed them a little extra. Get them out of the weather if you can, because you may not be able to. You may miss a feeding because of the storm. Like my pigs back here, I really like having my pigs under these cedar trees because they're in the shade. And we've been here long enough, and I know that most time when a tree falls, it falls this way. And so I'm not too worried about having them under the trees. But if you're just moved to hurricane country, and you don't know how things normally go, be a little cautious about building new livestock facilities under trees, because it can be a major problem. Every tree I've ever lost here has fell exactly the same way. In fact, you can look at the way they're leaning and tell which way they'll go. They go kind of catty corner here towards the road. The other thing I want to tell you, if you got generators, plan on losing electricity. And like us, when we lose electricity, we lose water too. We're on a well and it runs on current. But go ahead and get your generators out and get them running at least 2 weeks before. Go ahead and do it in the fall or late summer. You know it's fixing to be hurricane season. Get your generators out and get them running. If you don't have a generator, start looking at a generator. I recommend, like now, right after the storm, there's a bunch of people went out and bought generators, didn't have the money to buy one, and now they want to sell it. And they'll sell it for half price to get rid of it. No one good and well they're going to need it next week, but they'll still get rid of it. You find your deal. When you go to the grocery store, don't go buy bread and milk. Bread's fine. But if you've got a gas stove and you're still going to be cooking, I know if you don't have a gas stove, you got a gas burner, you're going to be cooking in the yard or cooking on the grill, whatever you're going to do, that's fine. But try to get some emergency rations. Get some canned goods, some stuff you can eat right out of the can. Get saltine crackers. Get spaghetti and meatballs. Get pork and beans and beanie weenies and Vienna sausages. I ain't saying buy pallets of them, but get some stuff that if you've had to come out here and deal with a problem on the farm and you don't have time to cook and you go back in the house and you're using candles or you're having to cook in the yard, you know, the current's going to go out while the storm's still going on, so it's going to be raining sideways. So you're not going to cook supper that night on the grill out in the yard. Get some stuff you can eat right out of the can. You know, use some common sense. Don't go buy a bunch of milk stuff that's going to spoil when the refrigerator's not working. Get a little bit of non-ethanol gas for your generators. Get some propane or some charcoal. And kind of plan ahead and use some common sense. Freezers. When you talk about your freezers, that's a major problem I see a lot of people have. Best I can tell from my experience, your freezer will kind of be guaranteed to hold for about, I don't know, depends on the size of the freezer, son. The bigger the freezer, the longer you can go. And the fuller it is, the longer you can go. If you have several freezers like us, we have several chest freezers. We got one great big one, a couple of little ones, refrigerators with the freezers on top. Try to put everything in one freezer. Try to get your biggest freezer packed as full as you can pack it. And then if you can put everything else in your spare refrigerator, try to do that. Because the worst thing in the world is trying to run 3 freezers, 2 refrigerators, all this stuff on generators. If you can cut it down to running 1, that's a big help. And 2, like I said, the further you've got that freezer, the longer it'll hold. And don't open it. This little thing I've seen people doing where they fill up drink bottles with water and put them in the freezer to freeze so they'll have ice. Well, that's great, but then they don't have a generator and they go in there open the freezer to get the water bottle out and bust it up in the ice, and every time they open the freezer, it's thawing out that much faster.
But that'll help keep your freezer if you don't open it.
If you don't open it, that will help, and if that's your only option for filling up your freezer, that is a good option. But as far as the option for ice, if you don't have a generator to keep it going, it's not a good idea. What's something else I need to cover?
Filling up the bathtub with water for flushing.
Yeah, way to flush the toilet if you're on a well and don't have any water is a nice thing. That's something else I'll caution you about. It takes a pretty good generator to put a water pump. I've got a 6 kW, 6500 kW, won't even touch it. It'll jump up and down. I've got a 10K I borrowed from a neighbor that will pull it, but it struggles. But one thing about it, around here, most of the time there's a hurricane, it means ditches are full, and our livestock can drink rainwater out of the ditch, and we can come get rainwater out of the ditch for other things. But that's just stuff people don't seem to think about. I feel like I'm leaving something out. I mean, we could talk for days about chainsaws and chainsaw safety and light lines and light line safety and
Something to start a fire with. Keep it in a plastic bag, because if it gets wet, it's not going to work.
well, I'll start a fire in rainstorm. Well, I guess everybody can't, but you know, keep you some drier meat in a little tender bag. I don't want to sound like a prepper, but you know, we're kind of old school around here. We're stuck in the 50s to begin with, and I was a Boy Scout and everything else, so I don't worry about some things as much as other people. But I'm not worried about the zombies, I'll put it to you like that. But hurricanes can be tough, and down here we'll go without power for 3 weeks, 2 weeks. We were out for half a day this time. That was still aggravating enough, but you kind of rehash it a little bit. Get your generators and mess running. This is probably, I should have made a whole video just like this. Get your generators running. Make sure the freezers, pack everything in one freezer, don't open it. Get some gasoline. Get some propane, charcoal, whatever you're gonna need.
Animals to Highland.
Yeah, well, get your animals to high ground. Get you a little extra feed. Feed them extra before the storm starts. And, you know, a tornado, ain't much you can do about a tornado. A tornado comes, it's just gonna get you. You know, but a hurricane, you can do a little bit of prepping for a hurricane. And I'm sure I left something out, and I'll think about it just as soon as we quit filming. But I appreciate you watching, and remember, you'll never apply a field return over in your mind. Y'all have a good evening.